everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB Zach Brown. Joined with me, as always, is former 410 Sprint Car Crew Chief and mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. We are wrapping up the Mexico City race in NASCAR. It was more or less a snooze fest, but an Aussie wins it.
Yeah.
And so you had a
Shock.
foreign driver win at a foreign track, but it was not a lot of people expected to win. Um, a lot of drama comes out of Mexico City between Hocevar and Stenhouse. We'll touch on that too. Looking ahead at the Husets Nationals and the Husets Hustle, a lot of stuff this week. A lot of high-paying races are in play for this week in sprint car racing. NHRA is back. IndyCar put on a show in the Midwest, so there's a lot of stuff to touch on. So let's dive right into Mexico, where the Crikey wins the Mexico City race, and it wasn't even close. He was the
Oh, that was close. It was only about 20 seconds for a lead.
16 and a half he won.
Is that what it ended up by? Okay.
And that was an ass kicking. And everybody knew he was probably going to be the favorite anyways. He just has a knack for those road courses and
Well,
street courses.
especially like early Kai Gibbs could run right with him and maybe even just a hair faster, but just the way he takes care of that car, the tires, I mean, you get 20 laps or whatever they're into a run and he would just start just driving away. His
Yeah.
crew's telling him to slow down. He's telling him to shut the hell up, leave him alone.
Well, that was at the end, like take care of it. And he's like, you know what? I've been taking care of all the race. Let me just. And it
Yeah.
was it was
I'm not sure he ran it any harder. I just don't think he slowed down.
the now I would have liked to see a caution. We were talking back and forth watching the race. I think Chase Elliott would have had a really good shot. If anybody could have contended with SVG, I think Chase Elliott would have had a shot at the end if there was a caution at a restart. Chase was really good at the very end of the race. Talk about somebody taking care of the car. He just and he's been doing it all year. Just been having consistent races. He's gonna get a win. It's just a matter
Oh
of
yeah,
when.
sooner or later he's gonna
He's
get
a
one.
regular season points leader right now, and he or Byron might be between him and Byron, one of the two. But all of Hendricks looking good. Even Alex Bowman looked good in the race in Mexico
Yeah,
City.
I mean Larson, it shows that he finished next to last, but he actually turned the fastest lap of the whole race.
Yeah, so
Just yes,
there's a point for
Kyle
that.
Busch took him out on what lap 3 or 5
Yeah.
or
So it start, and I think that's when it started raining. They already changed to the wet weather
yeah,
tires, and Kyle Busch just, I
lost it.
get, yeah, I guess he braked too hard going into the corner, and he just lost control, lost the rear end, came around and hit Lars. Lars was just an innocent bystander, and it had a lot more damage than what met the eye.
Yeah,
That sucks because he probably had a really good car to contend for a win, but he was taken out early. Just bad luck in Mexico City. The I will say the Xfinity race was a lot better than the Cup race. I actually really enjoyed the Xfinity race. It's really good, and Daniel Suarez, the hometown favorite, comes away with the win.
in
Uh,
a backup car from the rear.
yeah, and so he says something along the lines. I had my one coworker translate what he said in the Victory Lane speech when he said everything in Spanish. He said something along the lines of like "Long live Mexico City, fuckers" or something. So, so a little derogatory thing. We don't see hear anything come from that. And there was a lot of drama at the end of the race of the Cup Series race. Carson Hocevar and Ricky Stenhouse once again are clashing heads. So Hocevar admitted he screwed up and took out Stenhouse, and Stenhouse is just he's about fed up with it.
Well, Ricky's never crashed another car in his entire
Never.
life, so
He's not Ricky Stenhouse at all.
no. Ricky Spinhouse.
And so what the biggest drama actually with Hocevar apparently, and it was during his Twitch stream of one of his iRaces, he was saying what a shithole Mexico City is.
I mean,
That's almost
it,
verbatim.
it probably is.
Now he's probably not wrong. You just can't say shit like that on a Twitch stream, so he got a fine and has to go through his whatever.
Yeah, heads up. Probably gonna say the same thing about Chicago.
I take everything back about Mexico City. Chicago's actually the bigger shithole. My bad.
Yeah. They
Uh,
have better pizza.
yeah, and but yeah, the Xfinity race overall was way better than the Cup race, and weather had a factor in it. It really did, and it was interesting. Actually, I was hoping it was just going to rain the whole time. That's really what I don't know what the two drivers that stayed out, Cindric and Buescher, were thinking when it started pissing rain.
You know, they actually did surprisingly well for as wet as that track
I
was.
think Cindric did. Buescher fell back pretty hard, but
Yeah.
that's literally gliding on ice. Like if you want to talk about hydroplaning, that's what they were doing every corner. So that was a little bold. I would not have done that. I probably would
Yet
have.
Kyle Busch on rain tires locked it up and took out three or four
Yeah, what are you
cars.
gonna
So
do? Yeah. Um,
there you go.
again, it was an unnecessary road course. I think it was cool that they got to go somewhere they've never been for a points
Kind
race.
of, I mean, it's a neat looking track, and the
That
way it goes
stadium
through
part
the.
of it, I will say that's really, really cool. That is
Yeah.
really neat. I wish.
Except if you're sitting in those stands and they go through, you're like, okay, now I
Yeah,
guess
they're
you
gone.
watch it on TV.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, SVG just dominating and shooting out both ends. He said he was leaking out both ends is what he was saying.
Yeah,
Uh,
leak butthole was leaking.
yeah, well, and he also say it was coming out both ends.
Okay,
I guess he had the flu or something. He was just not feeling good.
yeah,
That's not feeling
they
good.
probably drank the water in Mexico. They tell you not to do that.
Well, here's the question, and Richard Petty brought it up. I don't know if he's on someone's podcast or does his own thing. He's like 90, so I didn't think he had his own podcast, but I really know he knew what technology was. But um, he was saying, do you really think somebody that's 30th in the point standings then just happens to get a win, especially on a road course, really deserves to be in the playoff? He's like, no. He's like, even
No,
road courses, that's not NASCAR. He said, that's not really NASCAR. He's like, yeah, good for him to get a win, but there's no reason that you should be locked in when you have a bunch of these guys that are having consistent week in and week out. And a win should not guarantee you, especially
I
now.
agree with that. Just
I
same thing. Go to Talladega. Some smackwad 30th in the points could easily win that race.
I think they should adjust it. I say top 20 in points are the ones that get a win probably are the that would probably suffice. That could take away a lot of that um
Because we
question
only have
decisions.
30 some cars. Basically, it's anybody if you get a win. I mean, it's other than part timers.
Yeah. Um but that was I don't think because here's the thing if and I don't I don't think they have a road course to start off in the first round in the playoff. I don't believe so. Um Well, say he ends up if they had that road course in the first round of the playoffs and he gets a win and moves on to another round, and or if they had like a road course in every round, and he's going to lock into the final four because that's the only track he can really race at.
Right.
Don't agree
Yeah. I
with it.
mean, this point system there, doesn't reward consistency.
No, no. The only thing that would reward consistency is a regular season championship.
Yeah.
That's really it. But well, speaking of that, so the reason why Larson went out there and was running the shit out of that thing, he lost the last year's regular season championship by 1 point. So getting
Yeah.
that extra point could come in handy here. And
Yeah. It's happened more than once. Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart tied at the end of the season.
yep.
1 point would have made the difference. So,
Well, moving on from Mexico City, they are heading back to America, like the exact opposite type of track and area that you can think of for Mexico. They are going to Pocono, where it'll probably have the same weather as Mexico, which means rain. They
in
are
Pennsylvania, yeah.
They're slated for three races, which usually you don't see all three series race here in one weekend. Usually it's off and on with either the trucks and Cup or the
Well, they
Xfinity.
only have one race now, so
Yeah, that I guess that's true, and I think that's all Pocono really needs. I agree with that. I actually did like the doubleheader weekend that
I
they
thought that was all right.
with the shorter races, but trucks, Xfinity, Cup, all going to Pocono, the mountains of Pocono. When this race was 500 miles, they never got 500 miles in. Now, since they've gone to 400 miles, it's they a lot of times it's been a while since I think they've actually had a rain shortened race at Pocono, surprisingly.
But
Uh,
considering Pennsylvania is basically wetter than the rainforest right now, I'm not
we'll
holding
see.
hope.
Well, yeah, I mean that could definitely play a factor this week. I don't really. I think you're still going to see the drivers that have been racing at these big tracks that raced well at Michigan. You're going to see them up in
Yeah,
contention.
you're going to see your regular guys. You're not going to see SVG probably up front this week.
The only way you would is if he does some
Now,
sort of
there's a
strategy for
caveat though.
rain.
This track does race a little bit like a road course, the way you got to break into some of these corners.
Yeah,
That's the
not
only
like, but
difference.
it's not enough for a
No,
like for him. The only way he can have a probably decent finish this weekend is if it gets shortened by rain and
pit
he,
strategy.
yeah, and doesn't pit and while others pit. Seen it happen. It happens all
Yep.
the time. Um, these cars will hit about 200 miles down the front stretch, the longest grandstand still, I guess, in motorsports.
Yeah, I think
One
so.
single
Yep. For
grandstand.
one continuous grandstand.
I still wish they would have something in the backstretch because that's usually where shit happens.
I don't know
Couple
what's back there. You might not be able to build nothing back there.
might not. I think they might have RVs or something. But tricky triangle. The favorite this weekend is Shockers Denny Hamlin, who just had his kid. So probably just didn't want to go to Mexico. If we said that last week, probably just didn't really.
Yeah.
I don't care about going to Mexico. Um, which Ryan Truex did as well as anybody really could because it was
He
kind of
he
a
was actually running okay. I was kind of talking shit that that's who they got to pick, but hell, he was
But
top
Denny's not
15
traditionally a
most of it.
great
He
road
kept
course
getting
racer.
crashed for no fault of his own.
But well, all is right in fantasy again when mom wins, and she beats me by a couple points though. I had probably one of the best fantasy. I just still don't know how she beat me. I thought all of my guys had a better average finish, but I don't know. Um, I got second. I made up ground on you. So let me look at the standings for our fantasy before we give our lineup for this week. And so I'm still 51 points behind. But good
Yeah, mom's
Lord,
like 100 and some ahead of me.
I'm 200, about 200 points behind her.
Yeah, it's pretty
That-
much over.
I
Unless it
am running.
resets for, I don't remember how it did. They did change points because actually I won the last 10 last year, but
Well,
overall she destroyed us.
let's do our NASCAR fantasy lineups for the Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway. A lot of heavy hitters here. I'm not putting Larson in this week. I want to save him for a
Yeah,
couple of the
I'm
mile
not
and a
either.
halves. I just want to save him for a couple of the mile and a halves because I've got four. I think I only got four left of him, so I'm going to use it up because I think everything refreshes at the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go hard with him towards the end. So my starting lineup for Pocono this week in NASCAR fantasy, I have Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and in my garage I have Christopher Bell. And in the featured matchups this week, they have Chris Buescher versus Joey Logano. That's probably going to be a sleeper against Chris Buescher. Seems to always happen. But I have Joey Logano in this one. Stenhouse versus Hocevar. The only reason they're doing this because they want to see a fight. But
Yeah.
Hocevar is just the faster car and better driver. Hocevar over Stenhouse. Chase Elliott versus Ryan Blaney. This is harder than you think because Chase Elliott has been running very consistently. But I am going with Ryan Blaney on this one. And Denny Hamlin versus William Byron. This is his best track. I'm going with Denny Hamlin. This is where he won, I think, four in a row or something at one point in his career. He got
Yeah.
his first
First
career win.
first three wins or something
Oh,
like
this
that.
is good. So I'll give the hot pick and you can go ahead. The hot pick's Denny Hamlin. Hot pick's Tyler Reddick. Avoid Kyle Busch. This is cool. Avoid Ross Chastain. He's in my garage, in my lineup, so that's fun. And the sleeper randomly they have this week is Eric Jones. So I mean, he could run really well. John Hunter Nemechek got sixth place at Mexico, so they're
That's a
figuring things
shocker.
out over there.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead with your lineup.
So on mine, like I said, we got a lot of ground to make up. So I have Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, and in my garage I have Tyler Reddick. And our matchups are exactly the same. Logano over Busher, Hocevar over Stenhouse, Blaney over Elliott, and Hamlin over William Byron.
The more or less, it's probably the easiest matchups to really pick this week, even though it's going to be completely opposite what we just said. And mom probably has the opposite. She probably has Stenhouse winning, and he's going to win or something random. But race winning picks for this week. So my pick for this week. He took a week off. He's fresh of having his first boy. Momentum is big for him. Just won at Michigan. It's his best track. It's hard to go against him. Denny Hamlin to win at Pocono.
I agree completely. I picked Denny Hamlin.
So he's gonna
Mom
crash.
has picked Joey Logano for this week.
Okay, so Joey's gonna win, and Denny Hamlin is going to crash.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Danny, sorry, you're gonna go play with your kid a lot sooner. We jinxed you.
Our bad. I would not be surprised for a rain short race at least one of these series. So we will
Yeah,
see
for
how rain
sure.
plays a factor. Um, let's go over IndyCar real quick, where they just raced at St. Louis. That is cool. How they do the pre-race, explosions, pyrotechnics. The drivers when they go down the backstretch, they actually did some in-car stuff. And they said, "Holy shit!" They were just talking to each other, like, "Hey, no, 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 holy shit! There's a explosion happening." Uh, Kyle Kirkwood gets the win in IndyCar. Not somebody who we expected to be in contention to win, but he does. He's second in points, so he is
Okay.
moving on up, or at least, or he's in the power rankings number two. I assume he's second in points now. I mean, Pelot's got this championship won, unless he just crashes
Yeah,
every week.
but those cars were absolutely flying around that track.
The average speed was like 160 during the race, but down the front stretch they hit like 190, and that's a
Yeah,
mild track.
right. That's so they look, especially under under the lights, they just look like they're just absolutely flying around that track.
Yeah, that was
It's
pretty cool to see. Uh,
now the shit on Fox, their coverage. I mean, I turned it on. It was 10 straight minutes of commercials.
yeah, they're
They would
they're
come back and be like, "Welcome back. We're going to commercial." I mean, it was that bad. They are the absolute
that's what
worst
network
of the
TV is
worst.
doing, and it's really pushing that. And a lot of people are going to get mad about it, and people don't understand that
And it
streaming.
was on, and it was on network Fox, and people are not going to sit there and watch that. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
uncalled for.
the future of racing is going to be streaming. That's just the way they seen how NASCAR has done well on Prime. IndyCar is going to eventually go to a streaming. Um, Especially they don't really pull in numbers that they really need for network television. Why not just go to a stream?
Yeah,
We'll see what they decide to do. The biggest highlight, I guess you call it a low light of the race, was Scott McLaughlin. I believe that's who had the big crash in IndyCar. I don't know if
yeah,
you
because
saw it.
I picked him.
Yeah, so he had the race won. I mean, he was the fastest car. I mean, it wasn't even close. And if I could, I would put up the quick footage of his crash. But they did an in-car camera of um his crash at St. Louis, and it was scary. So it was a lap car that crashed in front of him, hit the wall, and spun out. He had nowhere to go, and it literally flipped upside down on the front stretch. And it was a hard crash. Um, very scary, but that just shows how um safe those cars. Was it Scott McLaughlin? Who crashed? Hold on. Um,
One of the best things IndyCar did was sort I didn't like it at first. It used to be the open cockpit, but they put the more of a cockpit. It's open, still open on the top, but it has a windscreen and roll bar and everything there. It's better.
Sorry, not McLaughlin. It's Joseph Newgarden that
New
crashed.
Garden, okay.
My bad. I knew it was one of the two. Yeah, Joseph Newgarden is the one that was leading, had it won, and that's my bad. Everything seems to kind of mix all together when I was following
Car
all.
two, car three, it all kind of runs together.
Yeah, so yeah, but it was a very scary crash. It was really not even a bruise. I mean, he was just like, "Oh, I'm good." Um,
Yeah, they're
to go upside
relatively
down in
pretty
an
safe.
Indy car is a little sketchy, though.
Like I said, but still with having that front, with the windscreen and the roll bars and the frame and everything there, it's much safer than otherwise his head would have been right there against the pavement and just the helmet there. So that's definitely a good safety issue. I thought they looked stupid at first, but you get used to it.
Yeah. So IndyCar's off again until they are racing this weekend. Wow.
Oh, okay.
They're racing at Road America this weekend, so they have a busy schedule, and they're racing in 2 weeks again.
IndyCar needs more ovals. They're better racing on ovals. That's just I don't know.
Oh,
Just
Road America, they're pretty cool on Road America. I'll give them that.
yeah.
I
I
will
mean
give.
that's a neat track. I do like. I don't like the street courses. Even the Indy cars get around them pretty good. I just permanent road courses are not bad, especially Road America. It's 4.5 miles
See,
or
this is
whatever.
where they kind of screwed up July 4th weekend. They're going to Mid Ohio July 4th weekend, which is July 6th. Why not go? Why not have the Iowa race for the July 4th weekend? Because that's hashtag America when they go there. That is awesome.
Bush Light will be flowing out there.
Because they have back-to-back races in Iowa, and that's so awesome. That's coming up, and that's going to be really cool. I really want to go see that. They fly around there. Um, I mean, I wasn't going to have a pick for Road America, but there's really one driver that wins all the road courses, so it's probably
Yeah.
going to be Alex Palou if I had to pick somebody.
How do you go against that?
Yeah, he's just so good. I mean, last year Will Power won. Now this is the race last year where Scott Dixon couldn't even start. Like the car stalled out, would not restart. He could not go in the race because I picked him.
Oh,
I remember that one. Yeah. All right. So heading into NHRA real quick, and then we are talking about the Husets. Lots of cash coming in Husets in the
for
Sprint Car
real.
Series. So NHRA is heading up to Virginia, right up the road from me, so not terribly far, at Virginia Motorsports Park. And they actually only have three of the series there this week. They have Pro Stock Motorcycles, Funny Car, and Top Fuel. Biggest news this year is that Tony Stewart is has a good chunk of a lead in points right now, 72
Yeah,
points
he's been
ahead.
running well.
And that's it's surprise, surprise. Gage Herrera has the motorcycle points lead, but it's not like dominant like last year, so
No.
it's at least competitive.
Yes, he actually got beat by his teammate. I
Yeah,
can't remember
Gadsden
his name, but
is Richard Gadsden.
that's it.
Yeah, he's third in points. But still come down to him and Matt Smith, Herrera and Matt Smith. That seems the way they've had it the last couple of years. Uh, Funny cars, it's closer than a lot of people expect. Austin Brock's got the lead, but not that big. Paul Lee is second place right now.
That's shocking.
That's pretty cool to see that someone you don't usually see and then Jack Beckman's third in points and he's right there 44 points back. So that's just looking a little prematurely, but it's really it's cool to see different people in contention and then pro stocks you have Greg Anderson ahead of Dallas Glenn and those are going to be the only two that probably compete for the championship. They are far better
Yeah.
than everybody this year, which
Had
is
some
that's
kind of issue with Erica Enders and Elite Motorsports, something about illegal rear wheels or something. One of their runs was discontinued or disallowed, and then they got into a fight with Greg
she's under
Anderson's
the cut.
crew. And
Yeah, she's under the cut. She's 12th in points. She's 587 points back. Yeah,
well, she missed a race.
yeah. So I mean, that's a shock this year. Um, but Virginia, what quick analysis you have of that track over the other tracks? I know you were kind of reading a little bit about it.
Yeah, I was just looking. It's southwest of Richmond area. And interesting fact on that one, the track is only 170 feet above sea level. So they, depending on if it's not real humid, they should be making a ton of power, especially the naturally aspirated, like well, I guess it'd just be the motorcycles this time. I don't
Yeah,
think
just
anything else is
motorcycles.
running,
Yeah,
other than the sportsman classes. But
yeah, and
so
they should put
you
on
could,
sprint.
and those motorcycles, they're constantly running, 200 to 202, 203. I could easily see several bikes up in the low 200 range this week.
Yeah.
So
All
other
right.
than that, it's a drag strip. They're all about the same unless you're going four wide.
Well, again, it's kind of stuff starting to separate a little bit more at this time of the year and getting hot. Summertime's getting hot. It's humid where I'm at right now. It's humid where you're at. Probably same, about the same in Virginia. Probably feels
Probably.
sticky. Gonna be
That makes it interesting. And when the track's good for, everybody can seem to go on it. It's when the track gets hot, which is actually benefits Tony Stewart because they seem like they have a good
oh
hot. Like I don't think they're going to put the big numbers like Brittany Force is going to run. But when that track gets hot and you got to manage the clutch a little bit better, they seem to be as good, if not better than anybody else on that right now.
And kind of what I'm thinking. So for my picks this week, I have Tony Stewart in the top fuel to win. Big reason because of that hot slick track just kind of falls into Tony Stewart's kind of hands right now. Funny car series, I've got Fast Jack winning that one, and Pro Stock Motorcycle, I've got Matt Smith on that one. Let's go to the
Okay.
guy that needs to make up some ground.
Well, I'm going to change them up for you. So, top fuel, I'm going to go Justin Ashley, and funny car, hard to go against Austin Prock. And I'll go with big shocker, Gage Herrera, Pro Stock Motorcycle.
All right,
But
so
Matt Smith's got a real good shot at that one, I think.
I want to for the Husets. We don't usually give a lot of sprint car picks right now because there's so many sprint car races, but we have we have the Husets Hustle today, which is actually where we're recording Wednesday, Thursday this week. So the Thursday race is to win $100,000. Saturday's race, the Huset High Bank Nationals, $250,000 to win. It's insane that, and this track is really, really entertaining too. They put on great
Oh, this is a
shows.
this is a neat track.
It's
1 foot
really,
mile high bank. That's an awesome track.
it's a really, really good track. And so what we'll have you do analysis of it, but I want to give a pick for the $100,000 night and the $250,000 night. Obviously, this is the home track for the sponsors of the defending champion and points leader, David Gravel. Likely I mean, he's going to be the favorite every week to win at least one of these big time shows to get a win.
Yeah, not to mention Christopher Bell in the 69K for the Wednesday and Thursday race. He will not be racing. I haven't heard if anybody else is running the car Friday and Saturday. I'm assuming not, but so we do have Christopher Bell on that one.
Um, so, what is it about Houston that you think it's going to put on a good show? It has been really good
It's
shows.
just the shape of the track, little the sprint cars on these little bull rings, especially when they're a nice wide track like Husets is. So there's multiple grooves. It's a 10-second a lap track, which is fast for a third mile. That's quarter mile, speeds around there. So 24 to 26 cars, depending on provisionals, you're going to be in lap traffic, lap three, probably. And it's just, you're going to have to be able to run top. You're going to have to be running bottom. There's going to be sliders. Well, I say it should be an awesome race, then to go out and somebody go out and smoke everybody by about 4 seconds, but
It's just, but somebody always catches.
not likely on that small of a track. They better
You
be,
you just catch lap traffic, and it's going to be just something incredible. And it depends how you can get through it. I think you can start pretty much from anywhere. These races and outlaws and high limit, they've proven that you can start pretty much anywhere in the field and pass. There
yeah,
really
on
hasn't been a
this
race
small
where
of a track, I think you better, I'm going to say a winner does, they're going to be in the dash. You're not going to come back from any farther than eighth place.
sorry, Donnie Schatz, probably not going to make it. It's just a lot of luck. Just
Yeah.
can't start up front.
Oh, Donnie Schatz will probably pass more cars than anybody,
Yeah.
but he just, for whatever reason, just does
I
not
I haven't
seem
seen the
to
car count.
qualify.
I haven't seen the car count. I bet it's upwards of 80 to 100 cars if I had to guess. There's to win all that money, everybody's coming from the whole entire country. Everybody in
It
high
was
limit,
it was
everybody in
60
outlaw.
some the other day, and they were still bringing in.
Yeah. So there's probably be around 80-ish. I think that's what they bring to Knoxville is between 80 and 100 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So it's probably about the same. And Kyle Larson's racing in it. Corey Day's racing in it. Rico Abreu, like everybody from High Limit and stuff. Larson couldn't race all 4 days though, so that'll be interesting. I wish Christian Bell could, but we'll see how he races. Um, well, I guess without further ado, let's give picks for the races here at Houston, the 100,000 and $250,000 race. I'd love to say the 69K with Christopher Bell is going to win the $100,000. It's just so difficult to win. He'll be up there. They just been
yeah.
having some bad
I
luck.
think he'll be fast. I think.
They just been having some bad luck, and I'm not jinxing that shit. So that's not happening. So for the $100,000 night, I'm going with one of the hottest drivers in the country right now, Rico Abreu, to win the big money with the big guy. And the $250,000, you really want to say, yeah, it's probably going to be David Gravel, but I'm going a different one. And I'm willing to say this is going to be a stat. The youngest driver to win this much money in one single race, Corey Day, who just put on incredible shows at Knoxville. I have him to win the Husets High Bank Nationals for $250,000.
Okay, that's awesome. So for my first night, I was thinking Rico. I'm sticking in high limit. I'm going to do Larson for the 100,000. But the for the 250, how'd he go? They sponsor him. It's hard to go against David Gravel for that one.
Yeah, going
But
out.
somewhere in the back of my mind, just as honorable mention, Logan Schuchart for those big, super big money races. Some bitch, he comes out of nowhere on these things.
Won that one. He won I-55 a couple years ago. Won the $1 million
Yeah,
one, I-55 one. I mean, he's won a bunch of big ones.
yeah,
So
that's what I mean. Says somewhere in the back of my mind saying Logan Schuchart, but I'm gonna
uh,
pick Gravel.
it will be a sight to see. Hopefully, we can catch it at least tomorrow's race. Today kind of sets it up. See where you want to get everything set up for 100,000, and it really kind of gets you gets the crews to see what do we need to have for this 250,000. So a lot of trial and error right now. It's
Yeah,
two separate events, so they don't correlate not like
right.
the nationals. So it's like today and tomorrow, and then they stop Friday, Saturday is a whole different event. I kind of like that.
I do too.
Um, I mean, Knoxville's unique in its own way, so I
Yeah.
think that's the one that keep it the way it is. But I like the two separate events, so it'll be interesting. There's a lot of good racing, and this will be cool. Sprint car racing is going to be. It's been really, really good lately. The summertime, I knew when it started getting hot and slick, it's really putting on good
The
shows.
races have generally been pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, for the
Well,
most
racing.
part, there's a few snoozers, but most of them have been pretty
And
good.
I'll be honest, racing across the board in general has been really good this year. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some shitty snoozers in NASCAR, but I mean overall it's been a pretty decent year for racing
Yeah, I agree with that.
so far. We'll see.
Yeah, good time to be a fan.
I don't expect Pocono to be great races. It never
No,
usually
I don't
is.
either.
It's just too big of a track to have a great
Yeah.
race, but it'll be okay. Well, I think that does it this week. We'll see how terrible our picks are
Yeah.
for everything. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, share it wherever you get your podcast. And I actually just had an interview with somebody that's consultant for NASCAR to have some fan perspective on things. So we'll see if NASCAR listens to things for NASCAR regional things. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of kind of went on rants with her, but
Cool.
all
Yeah,
right.
well, do what you got to do.
But we'll see you guys next week after this big money week for all the series.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.